Hello, Namaste. This is Neeraj here once again, and welcome back to my channel, 𝐦𝐚𝐫𝐤𝐴 Stock Analyst. In today's video, I would like to discuss the economic and market prognosis about the current Israel Palestine war, or the West Asia crisis, what we call it, and what are going to be the near term or medium term and long term effects on the economics, world economics, and market, stock market, and which are the sectors, or what would be affected. So, as everybody knows that last Saturday, I think on the 7th October, that Hamas had strike, killed many Israeli. They attacked on the Israeli side, and after that the big crisis, and after that in next 2 days that Israel also retaliated with hundreds of bombardment, and everything on the Gaza, and now there is a huge crisis that they have given that final ultimatum for the people of Gaza to just move to, I think, south from the North Gaza, something like this. And there is already a huge hue and cry about all this war. So, in retaliation, or what you call in support of Israel, I think most of the Western nations have stood up, and USA has sent its Gerald Ford Admiral, that the biggest aircraft carrier, that warship, into this Middle East, into Mediterranean Sea, in support of Israel, so that if anything, if somebody, Israel's neighbors, like say Syria, or maximum this Iran, with whom Israel has a long-standing feud, if they try to attack, or they try to support, then USA also, with its presence of this big war naval aircraft carrier, they can show that this is kind of a show, just posture. So, what is your, basically many people are thinking that now this USA has got into this conflict, so definitely USA will crush everyone, and I don't think so. So let me be very clear about it. This is just a show. The first thing is that since last 2 years almost, this war between Russia and Ukraine, which is going on in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, and because of that, almost all the arms, ammunitions, weapons, and everything is exhausted or finished from the Western side, because they have kept on supplying to Ukraine, this USA and Europe, and even Israel. So that is also one of the reasons that it is like, the stock is not unlimited, it's not infinite, right? So it is very much depleted right now, and now suddenly this crisis have happened with Israel and Palestine crisis, what you call Israel and Hamas. There is really a shortage of weapons and ammunition. So this is a show of, but US cannot afford, and already there are worries in the West that how these two simultaneous war will be sustained by USA, how they can support. Already Ukraine is already on the verge of what do you call that, they are already understanding it's a supply is cut, aid is cut, the monetary help is kind of cut, and now suddenly this Israel, so they have to steadfastly to stand in unite with Israel. So that is one aspect, is that USA cannot. I mean, that is what my understanding, or why my view is that USA is not in position, even though people can think of it as a big gesture, but US is not in position to sustain it if this war between Israel and all these Middle Eastern countries, particularly with Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, and if Iran gets into, then it will be very difficult for USA to continue support. And if USA plunges into this by directly getting involved by its own army men and own soldiers, or by own, firing some missiles or something on Israel, hell will break loose, and I dread to think about this kind of interference by USA direct, because it will plunge the whole world into really a very, very world war kind of situation. Don't. It looks like that USA can crush and all these things. No. In 2 years of this Russia-Ukraine war, USA is totally exhausted and kind of depleted of arms. There are no more arms and ammunitions available to fight. So that is one thing. And Iran has unlimited number of arms. If they have shown that by supplying drones to Russia, Russia is using Iranian drones only. So Mark, don't mistaken that Iran is, Israel is the most powerful army and most this, and it was shown that vulnerability, that nothing is like that in the world. Nobody is invincible if you have strategy and if you have something. So we are only talking about the strategic point of view, not right or wrong. We are not. So please don't judge in that way. So Iran don't underestimate. And now with this kind of a crisis already on Wednesday, that is around 18th, I think most of these Muslim countries or Arab countries, what you call OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries, and Arab countries, Arab African countries are having a summit in Saudi under the leadership of Saudi Prince to decide the next course of action and negotiation, how to undertake negotiation between Israel and Hamas so that this war doesn't spill into a kind of a very, very critical world war kind of situation. So what is the aspect on this market? This is just a background I wanted to build up to make my point that it's not like that where this Israel can finish this war, because Israel also doesn't have weapons, because they also continuously secretly kept on supplying weapons to Ukraine, because that Ukrainian Zelensky is Jew. Anthony Blinken, which is who is the Secretary of State USA, he is also a Ukrainian Jew. Actually, his grandfather had fled from Kyiv to USA. So that is where all this sympathy of Jew together, and that is where this war against Russia, they're saying that it's anti-Jew. This is how this coalition is built up. So if this happens, I can tell you that that on next Wednesday itself, already last week, this week only, in Friday, this Russia Energy Week had concluded, and Saudi Prince was here, Saudi Energy Minister. There are some kind of a very good, secret negotiations have also taken place. That's what I understand. And now with this in this background, keep for sure that oil definitely will be affected. Don't be under impression, because right now what is happening is that even though OPEC Plus has done some cutting and China is slowing down, that is why the oil price is in balance. It's not going up very much, but it has not come down because Iranian oil is keeping on flowing into the market. Okay, that Europe is buying through Iranian oil. There is a kind of sort of ways of getting this Iranian oil. And if USA starts some more sanctions against Iran into this because of this Israel crisis and the effect of that, you be sure that oil will fire. And this time not only Iran, but because OPEC Plus is also coordinating together, so there will be some more reaction from Saudi side and from other OPEC side, if in the solidarity of this Muslim countries with their Gaza and Palestine issue, then it can be very big problem for the world, because already world is having problem with the inflation because of the oil and the food crisis also. And as you know that currently this monsoon season has finished in India, and it was a kind of a very bad monsoon in last 5 years. So that is why you will see some more restrictions from food exports from India continuous, particularly in rice, wheat and sugar, which is the main India's export. So that way you will see that even food inflation will be in the world. There will be food crisis will also crop up. And because of this oil and food crisis, don't think that USA dollar becomes a safe haven assets, because USA already has exhausted its resources and debt and weapons by supplying continuously flaring this Ukraine war. And now with this Israel crisis, USA has even given more debt, but already there are this debt ceiling and congressional problem will be there, because there is a huge problem of inflation in higher interest rate in USA, and USD is already under pressure. So this safe haven asset for the status of US dollar, I don't know how US will, by continuing printing more US dollar, but that way it will it will even jeopardize its status as reserve currency, and people are slowly but certainly losing faith in US dollar as a safe haven asset. So what can be? I mean, it may not happen immediately, but if really USA stretches its resources to help Israel and Ukraine also, keep in mind that even though US dollar, this oil will go up, and gold will be the ultimate hedge against inflation, against war, against all this kind of a crisis. And with this kind of situation suddenly precipitating into a world war kind of a crisis also, because China is sitting very quietly, nobody is looking at China. So in that way, it may happen that China may can take advantage and try to do something again with the Taiwan, in the Taiwan Strait. And if that happens, strategically, it can happen. And if that happens, where USA will go? Already it's depleted, already it's no strength. Already it is involved in Russia, Ukraine, then now in the Israel, Iran or Hamas kind of crisis. And if the third front is opened by China, Taiwan, it can open. Because strategically, this is the best time for China when nobody is looking at it. They can try to do something. Whether they will do it or not, that is, but it can happen. And if that happens, what will happen to US's support for this world leadership? I doubt very much that USA will be in position to help then in case of Taiwan also. So that way, US dollar is the biggest, casualty as a safe haven asset. So my bet or my prognosis is that gold will zoom off, go off. It will the best asset. Oil will be definitely, it will, this the way this crisis is, oil will go to its historic highs, and stock market will crash to the historic lows. With historic lows in the sense that it will come back to, then you can see a significant correction in the market everywhere, I mean including in India also, because we are already having this inflation issue. If oil goes up, definitely inflation, and with the failure of monsoon in India, food prices also we will see. So this is overall, I wanted to give my prognosis about this market and economics. And if you for any personalized investment consultancy, you can contact me. My description box, it's in the description box below. Everything details are there also. That's it from my side, and ciao from Neeraj from Moscow.